Now, the thing we're trying to model here is the average score difference. So the blocks end up being essentially a skill hierarchy. So the top teams end up being teams that, when they play each other, tend to have score differences that are pretty small, close to 0. But when they play teams in the middle group or the bottom group, they tend to win. And the same for middle teams. When they play each other, they tend to have score difference pretty close to 0. When they play the bottom teams, they tend to win. Bottom teams lose to everybody. And then there are these wild cards up here. I don't know who they are. I'm sorry if you like football. But these teams rise to the occasion or not. So when they play the best teams, they tend to have small score differences. When they play the middle teams, they tend to have small score differences. And when they play the worst teams, they tend to have small score differences. It's not clear to me what's going on. Perhaps somebody in the audience who likes football, we can look at this season and figure out who these are, and you can tell me why that might be the case for those two teams. But the point is that this structure that we inferred is completely different from the other structure, because the edge weights here don't reflect that much information about the edge existences. That's kind of interesting. So to summarize this section, the weighted block model learns from two kinds of information. It sucks in this auxiliary information about the edge weights, but also looks at whether things exist or not. We also did some tests applying it to essentially a link prediction type test, which is like cross-validation. Applied to 5 real-world networks. We asked it to both predict who connected and also what the weight of the connection was. And we found that this weighted block model is comparable to the state-of-the-art with the existence predictions, but better than the state-of-the-art for the weight predictions, which is nice. In each of these networks, the mixed model, where alpha is like 0.5, so we're learning from both parts of information at the same time, that tends to work really well. That suggests that the weight information reinforces the existence information. So think about like a social network. I'm going to interact with my close friends a lot.